Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Before I start my lecture, I am very thankful to the students whose name I announced, Vidhi Sheth, Chinmay Gowda and Yashvi Shah. I'm not sure Yashvi Shah is the name of the student or parents, but in comment it shows that name. I'm very thankful to all the students who reply and give the answer in the comment section. Uh, Please keep commenting. Your comments are providing motivation to me. So, students, today we will start the second part of Standard 9 Social Science subject, chapter number 10 Organs of Government, part 2. So, let's start without any disturbance. Now, we have to start with the concept, the principle of division of power. Now, how power divide? See, we cannot give power to any one organ of government. Okay, so in that context, in that situation, uh, we have to distribute the power because if any particular organ got the power, then they may misuse the power. Okay, so in that context, in that situation, the power required to be divided. Okay, the government carries out the function of the states, and these are different from one another. Okay, so whatever the work carried out by government, okay, the states and the central level, it is bifurcated, it is divided, and it is different from one another. The function of all three organs of government are different, and all the functions required a certain expertise. At judiciary, you require some expertise. At executive, you require some expertise. At legislature, you require some expertise. So all the three organs of government should be administered by different people. It must be administered, managed by different people, and each organ should carry out its own function. For example, judiciary required to carry out its own function. Legislature required to carry out its own function. By division of powers, misuse can be avoided. So if you divide, you can stop the misuse because power is distributed, so nobody can able to do what that particular organ wants. So it is necessary to divide the powers between three organs of government in order to make function of government easy and efficient. You want government work with efficiency, then yes, you need to divide the power of government. So regarding this, we have example. For example, the legislature has the power to formulate the law, but some power are so given to executive and judiciary that the legislature cannot misuse the power because legislature can formulate the law. So we have to see that legislature should not formulate the law other than constitution. We have to see that legislature cannot misuse the power. It is true that legislature can formulate the law, can prepare the law, can create the law, can generate the law, but we have to also see that legislature cannot misuse the power. Similarly, the executive is controlled by giving power to legislature and the judiciary is controlled by giving power to legislature and executive. So if you see that if legislature try to misuse the power, then executive and judiciary will control. If executive try to misuse the power, then legislature and judiciary control. And if judiciary try to misuse the power, then legislature and executive can control. So they are controlled by each other so that they can work parallel to each other. Now we will go ahead. We talk about first legislature. Okay, the uh, legislature organ of government broadly discussed over here. Now, India is a republic having parliamentary democracy. Okay, means we have parliamentary democracy. It can be asked in exam. that we have a which type of democracy. So the answer is we have a parliamentary democracy. Okay, so that you have to remember that we have a parliamentary democracy. I try to underline several things so that you can also mark, but underline remain as it is for few seconds. So India is a republic having parliamentary democracy. The representation of the people at the center is seen at parliament, and of the state is seen in the legislative assembly. Now here we have bifurcation. See, people select their leader. So the representation of the people, a person who is considered as representative, okay, at the center is seen in parliament, okay, and the state in the legislative assembly. Now here for you one question comes that who is the representative of Bhavnagar district in central level parliament? Who is the representative of Bhavnagar district in parliament? That you have to write in the comment section. And same representative available in the state level. Now in state level we have legislative assembly. At central level we have a parliament, state level we have a legislative assembly. The parliament is an important and apex main organization of the nation. Parliament is the main organization of the nation. The Indian parliament consists president, vice president, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha. Okay, so this question can be asked for 1 mark. The Indian Parliament consists, okay, number 1 President, number 2 Vice President, number 3 Rajya Sabha, and number 4 Lok Sabha. Okay, so this you have to remember. Okay, these 4 are the part of the Parliament consists these 4 designations or group you can say. Fine. Now legislature is of 2 types. When we talk about legislature, there are 2 types. How many types can be asked in exam? There are 2 types. A. Unicameral legislature. When the legislature is consist of only one house, it is called unicameral legislature, where there is only one house. And second is bicameral legislature, when the legislature is consist of 2 houses. Whenever any legislature has 2 houses, it becomes bicameral legislature. Okay, our parliament at central level is bicameral. So at the central level we have upper house of the legislature is called Rajya Sabha. Remember, upper house is known as Rajya Sabha, and lower house is called Lok Sabha. And at the state level, the legislature consists of legislative assembly and legislative council. They are available at the state level. But most of the state has only legislative assembly. Okay, legislative council is available only in few states. They are Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra have legislative council too. Now let's go for some presentation mode of understanding. Okay, you can able to see here at the central level we have a upper house Rajya Sabha and lower house, that is Lok Sabha at the central level. Now state level we have what? Legislature assembly, which is known as Vidhan Sabha, and legislature council, that is Vidhan Parishad. Now here some states names are mentioned: Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh. These are those states which has legislature council. Remember student, be careful as far as exam concerned. All the state does not have legislature council. Only these states has legislature assembly also and legislature council also. but every state has compulsory legislature assembly. Okay, this information I need to be, you have to remember them properly. Okay, now first we talk about legislature at the central level, that is parliament, and in that category we will discuss about Lok Sabha. Now from on this page, whatever information available in numeric part, that can be easily asked in objective type of question. So I request you that please try your level best to remember all the objective type of question. Now Lok Sabha is the lower house of the parliament. Okay, so we can say that Lok Sabha is lower house, L for low, L for lok. Okay, so Lok Sabha is the lower house of the parliament. The member of Lok Sabha are representative of the people. Means what? Elected by people. For example, if you want to go to Lok Sabha, you can see in in TV channel they shows that the political party leaders are discussing with each other. Okay, that is called discussion in Lok Sabha. Okay, now if you want to go to Lok Sabha, then you must participate in election, and if people give you vote, or we can say if you are a representative of people after election over, elected member, then you can become the member of Lok Sabha. So the sentence says what? The member of the Lok Sabha are a representative of people who are elected through direct election. Means people directly give vote. Those who are eligible for voting, they give the vote, and by highest vote they become the member of Lok Sabha. Now total how many members are there in Lok Sabha? The answer is 545. Please remember, 545 members of Lok Sabha. 545 members of Lok Sabha. And out of these 545 members, two members, two members are selected by president. Two members are selected by president. Remember, they are not elected. Two members are selected by president from Anglo-Indian community. From Anglo-Indian community. Now you must have a question. What is this Anglo-Indian committee? Okay, I'm community. So I want to clarify. Anglo-Indian means someone who lives in India and whose father or any of the male ancestors belong to European lineage. Okay, means the person is lives in India, but ancestors, fathers, anybody from that context, male ancestors belong to European lineage. They are called Anglo-Indian. So such type of two members, okay, selected by president, and they are the member of Lok Sabha. Okay. Then the next part is president is a part of parliament, that is president is part of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The president addresses, okay, please now be careful, next three sentence, okay, can create confusion in exam. The president addressed the first meeting. President addressed the first meeting of the parliament and joint session of the parliament. Okay, remember, president address the first meeting of the parliament and the joint session of the parliament. Other than this, beside these two occasions, the president never attends the parliament. So you can able to see president in the parliament only two times. Number one, first meeting of the parliament. Number two, joint session of parliament. Other than these two situations, president never attends the parliament. The president can summon both the house of the parliament and can withhold the proceeding of both the houses of the parliament and can even dissolve the parliament. So these are the powers of president is expressed over here. You have to remember them. A bill which has passed through three readings in both the houses of the parliament can become an act only after president sign. See, for example, bill means that you want to pass a law in parliament. Okay, then that particular law reading has to be done three times in both the houses. After the reading done three times in both the houses, then it's sent to president. And if president sign, then only it considered as law, otherwise it considered as proposal. So the bill becomes an act, can be asked in exam. In parliament, a bill become an act only after president sign. Okay. Another question can be asked. Lok Sabha is not permanent house. Means if I am the member of Lok Sabha, lifetime I cannot be the member of Lok Sabha. Its term is of 5 years. After 5 years over, if I am again elected, most welcome. But if I am not elected, I cannot say that, no, I want to become a, no, I will be. You cannot say that. Now, the term is of 5 years, but there is a one provision. If it is not dissolved before the completion of the term, president can dissolve the Lok Sabha. Okay, means what? President can able to say that before it 5 years over, from tomorrow onwards we dissolve the Lok Sabha. President can do this. President can dissolve the Lok Sabha. Okay, even before its term. Next, Constitution of India. Okay, Constitution of India is supreme, not the parliament. Be careful. You cannot say that parliament, or I mean to say parliament members are not supreme. They are not supreme. Okay, Constitution of India is always supreme. Okay, so parliament members are not more than constitution. Hence, the parliament has to enjoy its power, but within the limits prescribed by the constitution. If I am a parliament member, I can enjoy the power, but in the limit of constitution, not more than the criteria specified in the constitution. If the law framed by the parliament violates the constitution, suppose all the parliament members sit peacefully and they prepare a law, but which is against the constitution, violates the constitution, then that law can be challenged in the court. Being a citizen of India, if I realize I am a citizen of India, I realize that parliament framed the law, but that law is against constitution, I can challenge that particular law, I can challenge that particular decision of parliament in the court. Now suppose if the court also finds, if the court finds the framed law against the provision of constitution, the court can nullify the law. Court can say that, cancel that law. Stop that law. So imagine how nice arrangement we have in our country, students. Suppose parliament framed the law, and if anybody in India realize that the law is against constitution or it violates the constitution, then that law can be challenged in the court. And if court also realize that it is against the provision of constitution, then the court can nullify, dismiss, cancel that particular law. That is the power of people, you can say. Now next we have to go with qualification. Okay, qualification for member of Lok Sabha. Okay, but before that, let's see some of the presentation slide. Here we have lower house, that is Lok Sabha. Total member 545. Out of 545, okay, 2 are Anglo-Indian members selected by president. Now, how many members of Gujarat out of these 545? Answer is 26. How many members from Gujarat? That is 26. In this 545, 26 members is of Gujarat. Okay. Now we will talk about qualification for membership of Lok Sabha. Now look at this. To be qualified as a candidate and to be elected as member of Lok Sabha, he or she must be citizen of India, should be 25 years of age or more, should be not having unsound mind or insolvent. Now insolvent means what? For example, you took the loan but you not pay back, then you become insolvent. Okay, so it is in that context. Unsound mind, I hope you are aware. So these are the minimum criteria. Must be citizen of India, age 25 or higher, okay, not have unsound mind and not insolvent. At the same time, he or she should not be an employee of the central or the state government, okay, cannot be the member of central or state government. For example, students, right now I am talking with you, at that time I am an employee of Gujarat government, okay, I cannot become the member of Lok Sabha. Okay, clear? All right. Now next, he must not be proven criminal. If it is criminal, proved is criminal, then I cannot be participate in Lok Sabha election. Okay. So these are the points which I underline. You have to be very careful. You have to remember them. There should be a period of 6 months between two sittings of the parliament. Okay. There's the provision. You have to remember. A president can dissolve the Lok Sabha on the council of the prime minister. After talk with prime minister, president can dissolve, can stop Lok Sabha. A member of any of the house of the parliament can attend the proceeding at that house and can vote in the same house. But a member of the cabinet ministry can attend the proceeding of both the house of the parliament even if he or she is not a member of Lok Sabha. But if he or she is a member of the upper house, then he or she can vote in that house only. Now the point says what? That you are able to attend the proceedings of both the houses. But you can vote in your house only. Okay, if I am a member of Lok Sabha, I can attend both the houses session, but I can give my vote only in the upper house. Okay, all these are the provisions you have to remember. Okay, now state of Gujarat as a representation of 26 member in the Lok Sabha, I showed you in presentation. The term of Lok Sabha is of 5 years, but president can dissolve it before that if needed. In the case of national emergency, okay, please remember, this can be asked in objective. In the case of national emergency, the term of Lok Sabha can be extended for 1 more year. Okay, so compared to 5, it can become 6 years, but only in the case of national emergency. And if the president dissolve the parliament, it cannot be challenged in the court. Suppose if president stop the Lok Sabha, then sessions, then you cannot challenge that in the court. That no, how can president stop? You cannot do that. Quorum. Next topic. Now, quorum means what? Quorum means minimum requirement. Okay, to start the session. Quorum is the number, underline, quorum is the number of members present in the House of Parliament. It is that number of members present and working in the House out of total number of members in that House. So minimum that number of people required. The minimum quorum of Lok Sabha should be 1/10 out of 545 members. Means what? 55 should be present. Similarly, minimum quorum in Rajya Sabha 1/10 out of 250 means 25 should be present. If these number of members are there, the functions of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha will work. This is the minimum number we can say required to be available in the parliament. Now we will move on. Rajya Sabha, the second part of legislature at the central level. Now Rajya Sabha, okay, Rajya Sabha is the upper house. It is a representative house of the states and union territories of India. Means what? See, every state send their representative at Rajya Sabha. The member of Rajya Sabha is not elected by people of India. Listen, students, be careful. The member of Rajya Sabha is not directly elected. Not directly elected. From every state, the representatives send towards Rajya Sabha. From the state level assembly. From the state level assembly, members are sent in Rajya Sabha. I repeat, from the state level assembly, members are sent as a representative in Rajya Sabha. There are 250. There are 250 members in the Rajya Sabha. The members of Rajya Sabha are indirectly elected by the members of the Legislative Assembly of the state. Like Gujarat Legislative Assembly, they conduct the election, and out of that election, elected members they send to the Rajya Sabha. So every state legislative assembly send their elected members from legislative assembly to Rajya Sabha. Okay, so here they indirectly elected by the members of legislative assembly of the state and the union territories, okay, through the method of equivalent representation, okay, in the ratio of equivalent representation. Okay, in all 238 members in Rajya Sabha, 238 members of Rajya Sabha are elected through legislative assembly. Now we to say 250 ne? See here data says what? How many members are there? 250. So out of 250, 238 members they are in Rajya Sabha from legislative assembly, elected members. What about remaining 12? The rest 12 members are nominated by the President of India. For example, Sachin Tendulkar. Okay, Sachin Tendulkar was member of Rajya Sabha. Okay, under the nomination of President. Now, who are these 12 members? These nominated members should be having special knowledge and practical experience either in literature or science or arts or culture or sports or any of the social service. So these are the criteria and these 12 members are nominated by the president. Okay, important point. No person can be the member of both the houses simultaneously. At the same time, I cannot be the member of Lok Sabha also and Rajya Sabha also. I cannot be. Not possible. Okay. Now let's see the slide of Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha, total member 250, 238 elected members and 12 members are nominated by President. Okay. So that you have to remember. Okay. Now what are the qualification for membership of Rajya Sabha? Who can be the member of Rajya Sabha? That we have to discuss. Now, to be qualified as a candidate and to be elected as a member of Rajya Sabha, he or she must be same citizen of India, but age is different. In Lok Sabha, if you notice carefully, in Lok Sabha it is of 25 years. Look at my movement on the screen. Okay, 25 years. And here it is 30 years of age. So in Rajya Sabha, the age should be 30 years, citizen of India. Okay, must not unsound mind, insolvent or criminal, and he or she should not be government employee, taking salary or holding any office or profit. Should not be the government employee, I can say. Okay. Next, now state of Gujarat has the representation of 11 seats in the Rajya Sabha. Means what? Out of that, out of this 238, okay, out of this 238, okay, the total seats mentioned here, that is 11 seats of Gujarat. Okay, out of these 238, 11 seats of Gujarat. All this numeric data can be asked in objective type of questions. Students, please be careful. So Gujarat has a representation of 11 seats in the Rajya Sabha. Now Rajya Sabha is the permanent house. You can't dissolve it. President cannot dissolve. Cannot. I am speaking. Cannot dissolve the Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is permanent house. It cannot be dissolved. Okay. But one third of its member retire every 2 years and the same number of members are elected. Okay, like for example, there are 99 members, then one third of 99 members. For example, I'm saying out of 99, one third member. Okay, one third, 99's one third is 33. For example, the members are retired. I'm just giving you example of 99. Okay, so one third of its total member retired every 2 years, and the same number of members are elected from their respective states, and thus the tenure time period of the member of Rajya Sabha is of 6 years. Whereas in Lok Sabha is of 5 years, but here in Rajya Sabha the tenure time period is 6 years. Now those who retired, we heard here we discussed that 2 years they are retired, one third of its member retire. Okay, so those who retire, in spite of the retire, however, the members are eligible for re-election and re-nomination. Again, they can be re-elected at state level and can stand as a representative and can be re-nominated also. Okay, can be renominate also, re-election and renominate. Okay, both are mentioned here. Okay, why the word renominate mentioned? Look at this, nominate by the president, I am talking in that area. So they can be renominate and they can be re-elected from the state level to be expressed as a representative at Rajya Sabha. Okay, next. Now generally both the House of Parliaments meet for 3 times in a year. They meet 3 times in a year, can be asked in exam, and these meetings are called session, and that is called budget session. Please remember this: monsoon session and winter session. The Vice President of India, by virtue of his house, held the office or chairman of Rajya Sabha. Vice President of India, by virtue or his office, considered as chairman of Rajya Sabha. Can be asked in exam. Vice President is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Where is the vice chairman of Rajya Sabha is elected by the member of the Rajya Sabha from among themselves only. So those who are member of Rajya Sabha, from them only they elect vice chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Okay, vice president is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Okay, for example, if it is asked who is the chairman of Rajya Sabha, answer is vice president. Then who is the vice chairman? That is among them those who are member of Rajya Sabha. Among them they elect and express. The first chairman of Rajya Sabha was Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, okay, the first chairman of Rajya Sabha. Okay, now here students, I have 3 questions for you. I will announce your name in my next video if you try to give the answer, even the answer is incorrect. Okay, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, okay, which day we celebrate on the birthday of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan? Question number 1. Okay, which day we celebrate every year on the birthday of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan? That is one question. Second question, right now, who is the Vice President of India? Right now, who is the Vice President of India? Okay. And third question, who is the Vice Chairman of Rajya Sabha right now? Okay. So total in my video there are 4 questions. Okay. So accordingly you have to remember them. Okay. And can require to give the answer. Okay. So students, here we would like to conclude our lecture, and in our next lecture we will talk about speakers of Lok Sabha. Till then, if you have any doubt, please ask me in the comment section of YouTube video. Okay, and I'll pray for all of you. Please take care of yourself, students. God bless you.